Hi there again, everyone. Back for day number 2 of the Desert Open tournament. I'm going to do a practice round in the Pro Division today. I did a practice round in Pro yesterday as well, so show you guys a few shots. I learned quite a bit yesterday as well, so I'll take what I learned yesterday and use that to hopefully put together a little bit better round today as well. Setting up for hole number 1. I'm going to go quarterback on the drive and sniper on my second shot, mostly just for the accuracy on the second shot. There is the chance to make albatross, so I will be going for that. As far as balls go, I think I'll be using a Titan. Quarterback is just barely enough club to get to the second fairway, so use the Titan to give me a little bit extra help over there. Probably will be using quite a few Titans today, but as you can see, if you can finish top 10 or so in Pro, you'll win back more Titans and Kingmakers than you used in the tournament, so that's a good goal to go for. Let's get started with hole number 1. So this is going to be an old Oasis hole, number 1, par 5. There is 2 ways to play this hole. You can go to the left or you can go to the right. I tried going to the right yesterday with a Guardian backspin shot on my second shot, and there used to be an area on the green, if you landed to the right and above the hole, the ball would just funnel back towards the hole, but it appears that they've changed that green up a little bit so that no longer works. So today I'm going to go to the left and take the sniper shot straight at the hole, just to see if we can try to make an albatross that way. So it looks like our opponent here is going to the right, and it looks like he's hit a pretty good shot, so he should be able to play a sniper or a Guardian from there and get on the green, but I think he'll have a hard time making a good run at the albatross from there. So the quarterback and a Titan and 5.6 in wind. Looks like we need about 7 rings of power to get there, and we have roughly 5.5 rings of power with the wind. So we'll need to overpower this just a little bit. I'll aim at the left side of this fairway to let the wind help us out a little bit. So I'm just going to slightly overpower. One great ball shouldn't hurt us too bad there. And as you can see, we're just sort of getting out there in the middle of that fairway, and that's all we're really trying to do. So as you can see, if you go to this right direction and you don't have a power ball, such as at least like a Katana or Titan or anything like that, it looks like it's going to make the second shot pretty difficult. If you do have like a Titan or a Katana, you can use your Guardian and land the ball on the green and get it to stop with backspin. But it looks like our opponent did make it through and should have a pretty decent chip to make his eagle there. So for us here, since we're downwind, I'm going to land it short of this bunker here. And I'm going to set up my ball guide just short and right of the hole to account for how the wind's going to affect the ball. Looks like we're at about max club, so I'll play 6.5 rings. So there's 5, 6.5. Got a great ball, so that'll take away our chances of making albatross, but this should still end up pretty close to the hole. So as you can see, not too hard to make an eagle there, but I think it's a really good chance to make albatross, so definitely make good notes of your adjustments every day that you take the shot and see if you can sort of hone in on that correct amount of adjustments, wind per ring, to try to make that albatross and get yourself an extra stroke on this hole. Oof. Just barely got it. So, I'm not going to play pro with this account, so I am going to go ahead and start forfeiting out, just to make sure that I don't qualify for this. And we'll go ahead and head towards hole 2. Hole 2 is a pretty long par 4, so I think I'm going to stick with a pretty similar setup. Stick with the quarterback on the drive. You don't need a ton of distance on the drive, but I will be sticking with a Titan ball because in order to have a decent shot at the eagle, you will need a lot of distance on the second shot, especially if you're going to be using sniper. So that's why I'll be going with a Titan. So as you can see, our opponent's going to go over to the right fairway over here. This isn't a bad shot. I've seen a couple people hit from over here, and the only thing I don't like about it is you have to hop off another island on your second shot, so it just seems kind of inconsistent as to where your ball is gonna hop and go to. Plus the drive's a little bit harder, as you can see. Hopefully I'll have a shot. So what I'm gonna play is I'm gonna play 1 top spin and 4 right spin. And I'm not going to get too aggressive with the ball guide. I've seen a lot of people go too far right on this fairway, so I'm not going to play any more than that, and I'm not going to play any curl. Just play my 7 rings pretty straight up and try to get my perfect ball as I did. And hopefully this will leave us in the middle of the fairway pretty far down there. So that's not too bad. The one key is you want to make it really far down that fairway, but you obviously don't want to go too far. So I think 1 top spin with the quarterback there was kind of the perfect shot, where we made it pretty far down there, but we didn't put ourselves at risk of going too far. So it looks like our opponent will have a shot. So I guess those bushes that he's in are not in play. That's not a bad recovery shot right there. Of course, since I forfeited out on the first hole, this is a replay. So I probably should have known that he would have still made a birdie. So let's see how we're looking here. So I think we did make it far enough to do what we want to do. So sort of the same setup as hole number 1. We're going to set up the ball guide just short and right of the hole. Something like that. And then I will go ahead and play about 5.5 rings, since we are into power a little bit. You can see with the plus 11. So I think that's about 5.5 rings there. And my perfect ball timing is not the best this morning, it doesn't look like. So, as you can see, I would have given it a better run on number 1 and number 2 if we could have hit perfect ball, but I think the adjustments are pretty close so far. I mean, looks like mostly max club adjustments. Nothing too special. So we'll go ahead and head to the first par 3 of the day, which is going to be hole number 3, which is one of the original Oasis holes before these recent 5 holes were added. So I do want an iron with a lot of curl. Goliath has 65 curl. Saturn has 65 as well. I'm going to go with Saturn just because it has a little bit better ball guide. Or a little bit better accuracy, I mean. And we will need as much curl and spin as we can, so I will go with the Katana here. So they have changed this green as well. There used to be a huge mound right next to the hole, which I actually kind of liked, because if you could get it over that mound, you gave yourself a really, not quite 50-50 chance, but at least probably a 1 in 5 chance of going in the hole if you could get it over that mound. But now it seems like it's a lot more difficult ace to make. So I'm going to try to set up about right here. Go. Let's see. So I'll go about right there. I'll go 2 bars of backspin. And then we're going to need about 3.5 rings on the adjustment here. I'm going to pull a little bit to the left to keep myself away from that bunker. And as you can see, we're kind of swinging it around there towards the hole. Obviously, if we wouldn't have hit great ball, it probably would have stayed a little bit higher on that hill and given it a little bit better chance of the hole-in-one. But it's just such a tight shot. If you get a little bit too close to that left edge of the fairway, you can just so easily catch a piece of rough and land in the bunker, and it's so hard to make a birdie from there. So I'd rather take the safe shot 10 out of 10 times and make sure I can get the birdie. So go ahead and give you another view of our opponent. He's got the Goliath, which has the same amount of curl. That's gonna be pretty close. Not bad at all. So I think Katana ball is the ball to go with there. Katana or Kingmaker. You need a lot of side spin. So that should give you a pretty decent idea as how to get a birdie. You can see the little island on the left that you can do a hop shot off of. I would not recommend that at all. It's just such a precision shot that you have to have your ring adjustments spot on. You have to hit perfect ball, and even then, you're not really giving yourself that good of a shot at hole-in-one. So, just really not worth it in my opinion. So hole four is the super difficult par 4 of the original Oasis holes. I'm gonna go with Extra Mile and Guardian. My plan is to do the rough bump shot on the second shot, assuming I make it far enough on the first shot. And in order to make sure that I make it far enough on the first shot, I am gonna go with Extra Mile instead of quarterback. So as you can see, we're pretty far downwind. Probably won't put any side spin on it, so we're looking at about 3 rings up, right about there. So I mean, that's probably our landing zone that we're looking at. So then we'll just probably about 3 rings over as well from there to account for the wind. And then we shouldn't need any extra power. The wind should give us enough of a boost to make it over there. And you can see we're coming in pretty good there. That's a pretty decent landing zone for going for the rough bump on our second shot. So not too bad there. I don't like the accuracy of the Extra Mile, but I don't mind it when I don't have to overpower it like there. So ideally, if you have a Thor's Hammer like our opponent does, I mean, that's a lot better option because you're only looking at about 1.5, 1.6 per ring. So there's another good shot there. So I mean, all you're really looking for on this hole is to make a birdie, really. make a birdie and get out of there, but there is a chance to make an eagle, so may as well go for it, right? So as you can see, there's max club, so we're just under that, so I will probably play this at probably 1.4 per ring maybe, which will be exactly 4 rings. Go ahead and set the ball guide up there just on the left side of the cup. And then we'll try to go as close to 4 rings exactly as we can right there. And still can't hit perfect ball, so a little bit frustrating, but as you can see there, not too difficult of a shot if you can put yourself in a good position on the drive. Hopefully our opponent can put together a little bit better rough bump shot for you guys to look at. He's going to be pretty close to max sniper, so he should need around 5 rings right here. That looks pretty close to 5 rings there, so see how close he gets. It's just a little bit of an over adjustment, so as you can see, he wasn't in plus yardage at all, so he wasn't at max club, so maybe his adjustment was 1.2 per ring or 1.3 per ring. Probably 1.2 per ring, so maybe a good thing to take note of if you're in pretty similar position to either one of us as to exactly where we were on the as far as miles per hour per ring go. For this hole, I am going to go sniper. I think I'm going to go kingmaker on this. You don't have to. You can play a different shot, but I do want to try to show you guys the rough bump shot. So, from what I remember yesterday, I was pretty close to max club, so I want to cut down that wind as much as I possibly can and give myself as much room to work with since I'm at max club and pulling even farther back towards max club. I think I got a little bit more favorable wind today too. My wind should only be right around 4 or so. I think it was like 5.5 yesterday, so. So, a good safe shot would be to set up how our opponent's setting up right here. He should adjust 6 rings or so. There's 5. I think he probably needed to go at least 1 more ring, and then you just want to use just a little bit of curl. You don't want to do too much. If you do too much curl on this shot, you will catch the rough and potentially stay in the rough. So our opponent's going to catch the rough and just trickle out. So the only problem I saw with this shot is he probably needed to adjust 1 more ring and also curl just a little bit less. So as you can see, we're at max club. So I'm going to go as much backspin as I can, along with as much left spin as I can. And then set up super far down here. I want to set up on the very edge of this. And then I'm probably going to adjust right at 5 rings, since we're a little bit into power. Did catch perfect ball for once, so see if we can't get reasonably close. Oh, okay, so even then, being into plus yardage, it looks like we're going to need to go at least 5.5, maybe 6 rings. Because as you can see, we landed in the middle of that rough patch, and we were aiming for the very edge of it, so I think I was at very max club, so gonna even need to overpower it a little bit. So maybe best if you're gonna try that shot with a kingmaker, maybe go with that with a guardian. It's gonna have pretty decent ball guide still, but it will give you, let's see, So my Guardian would give me 5 extra yards there, plus the, I think, 7% that a Kingmaker adds. So you're looking at probably 5 or 6 extra yards there, so that could have made the difference. Hole number 6, so it's going to be the second par 5. I will stick with the extra mile. I think I'll leave the rest of my bag like this. I was a little bit short in the rookie division with having a sniper, so I had to overpower, but I think with the extra win that we get in the pro division, along with the extra distance that I have on my sniper, I think a sniper 9 or sniper 10 is enough. If you don't have a sniper 9 or 10, I would probably say go with maybe, if you have a high level Guardian, go with that, but if not, then your big dog is not too bad of an option. So I will be going over to this left fairway as well. The goal here is to get all the way down to that third fairway down there without going too far. Perfect ball, so this shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's perfect. So our goal is just going to be to replicate that shot right there as best as we can. So I'm going to go full topspin and full topspin and maybe about 2.5 right spin. And then for this extra mile, I'm going to adjust about 3.5 rings, pretty close to 4 rings. And then just focus on our perfect ball from there. So the wind and the spin that we put on the ball should help us get over to that fairway. Oh, just barely. So may need just a slight bit of overpower there, but the important thing is that we did make it over that fairway, so we will be able to make the green pretty easily. So I did the typical ring adjustment where I pulled backwards. It may be better to just kind of eyeball 3 to 4 rings and keep your target at max power. That way you don't run the risk that I did of not making it to that third fairway. Because yeah, I pulled back almost 4 rings, so that is 4 rings of distance that I lost. So maybe instead of overpowering, just don't pull backwards, just pull your target straight to the right. So I don't think we're going to need to overpower this, but I will do that on this one. So I'm going to adjust 5 rings, but I'm not going to pull back. So that's about 5 rings right there. And we'll see if that can't get us up to the green. If you can make it up to the green, ooh, not quite. So if you can make it up to the green, really all you're aiming for is the left side of that green. The green funnels pretty hard from left to right, so if you can get the ball up into at least pin high, you will give yourself a chance for the albatross. Just have the ball funnel back down towards the hole. So we'll show you guys this chip shot just in case you leave it short like I did. Shouldn't be too hard of a setup. So my end-bringer is 1.6 per ring. And I'm going to say the flag, let's see. So cut it in half. So it looks like we're about quarter club. So quarter club going to be only about a 1 ring adjustment. And the way that works is that since my wind per ring is usually 1.6 per ring, since I cut it down to 1/4 club, I multiply that 1.6 by 4. So where I landed the ball, I was actually at 6.4 per ring for a 6-mile-an-hour wind. So that's how I came up with 1 ring right there. So hole 6. So we're heading on to hole 7. Hole 7. I may try the Guardian shot. I think I will. I think the Guardian shot's a safer shot. The rough bump's just a little technical for my liking, and it seems like the wind adjustment isn't. I think the hole definitely plays a little bit downhill from the 2 or 3 runs that I've taken at it so far. I've tried it out in Masters, I've tried it out in Rookie, and I tried it out in Pro once. And every single time it seems like even at max club, the wind adjustment's an extra, I'd say at least 20%. So I don't like making that sort of assumption on a rough bump shot. But it looks like our opponent will show us the rough bump shot here, so he is at mid club, so I would think he would adjust 20% more wind than that, maybe 6 rings. He is overpowering it, which kind of worries me a little bit. That is alright. So I'm going to put on a ball with a little bit more spin here. Go ahead and go with the Quasar. And we'll set up something like that, and then max ring adjustment, 1.2 per ring, and I will play about 1 extra ring. So I'll play at 7 rings instead of 6. Oh, great ball. And the reason that I played the extra rings there is, like I said, I think this hole is playing significantly downhill. And that's just from the experience of playing it. Every time I played this hole so far, my wind ring adjustment has been not even close. So it looks like even with the great ball there, I had a pretty decent adjustment, so I would play it probably about 10% extra, maybe 10 or 15% extra on the wind there. So moving on to hole 8. Hole 8, you don't really need a wood club. I'm going to go with my best ball guide clubs. So there is a chance that we could use a Hornet or a Backbone on the second shot for the rough bump. So both of those clubs have pretty good ball guides, and both of them are pretty accurate. 1.4 per ring and 1.1 per ring. But the big key here is to give yourself a good drive and put yourself in a good position to have a good rough bump shot. I really like the shape of this hole. I think it looks like I guess it's a stingray. But pretty cool looking hole design. I like the options of the hole too. As you can see, I think our opponent, now he's going to go left as well. Our opponent with an extra mile 7, he could land on the far right fairway over there and bounce it over on the right side of the fork. Even if you land in the rough, we should still easily be able to make it to the green with that shot. But as you can see right there, he didn't account for the wind, so he did end up landing in the rough, making his second shot a little bit longer, but still nothing that's not manageable. So I'm going to line up about right here. As you can see, 6 miles an hour of wind, so we do have 6 rings. We have about 10 rings until we hit the rough, so I don't think we're going to need to take off any. I'm going to leave the ball guide right there because I am going to curl it back quite a bit. So we'll see how that looks. So that's not too bad right there. I don't know if it's quite going to put us in hornet range, which is where I want to be. But either way, not too bad of a shot. This is hole 1 has a good albatross chance. This hole has a good eagle chance. I really think these are probably the 2 best holes to gain an extra stroke. The par 3s just aren't that easy. There's no super easy shot that just funnels right towards the hole or anything like that, so I think this is probably your best opportunity right here to get an extra shot on this tournament. Woo, just barely. So as you can see, we are in hornet range. We'll play about 3 topspin maybe. And then I'm going to play at 1.1 per ring. I will play 5.5 rings, I guess. I think it's slightly uphill, so I don't think we need to super over adjust or anything like that. Oh, so close. So it looks like it is a little bit uphill, so I probably could have played it at 1.2 per ring instead of 1.1 per ring at Max Club. Like I said, on hole number 1 though, just every time you play that hole, every time you play that shot, just dial in your adjustment just a little bit. So the next time I play that hole, if I end up in the same situation, I would set up for 1.2 per ring and give myself a little bit better chance. So it's really about just making yourself a little bit better every single time you play one of these rounds, just preparing for the weekend round. So hole 9, I am going to go for a little bit of a trick shot here. I think this is going to be the best chance to make an eagle on the Pro Division. So I'll stick with these 2 clubs. So 15 accuracy, so that's going to be 2.7 per ring. So we are going to want to hit perfect ball on this shot, but even if we mess up this shot, we should still be able to make birdie. So I don't see too much harm in at least giving it a shot. Looks like we got a good opponent as well, so we should get 2 good looks at potential ways to play this hole. So I think we are both going for this right fairway over here. And if you want to make the eagle, I think this is the best way to go for it. You do want to play off of that right fairway. Not too bad there. If he would have got perfect ball instead of great ball, he may have made it, but not too bad. So as you can see, we're going to set up right here. Go ahead and go max top spin, I guess. Alright, I guess we're going to set up right there. So 2.7 per ring. I'm going to go ahead and go almost an extra ring, just in case we great ball it. Set up with just a little bit of curl. Ugh. Did not want the great ball to the left, though. So, that was unfortunate, but it sort of gives you guys an idea of one way to play this hole. Just a really difficult hole to make an eagle on. I think with the top spin of the big topper, I think if you get really aggressive to that bunker, I think you can make it to that fairway, but I just wasn't finding the correct landing zone, it didn't look like. So, as I said, it's not the end of the world. Should still be able to salvage a birdie from here. That'll put us in backbone range, and I'll go ahead and show you guys the rough bump shot with that club. Who knows, maybe we can still even make the eagle. The alternative to that is on your drive, you can go to that left fairway. You will need at least a Titan. I'd probably recommend a Titan, actually, to get that extra wind at your back on the second shot. But yeah, make it as far up that left fairway as you can. There's really no reason not to get super aggressive with it, just because even if you mess up the shot, as I said, you're still gonna be alright and have a decent chance to make birdie. So backbone at minimum distance. I'm probably gonna play this pretty close to 3.5 or 4 rings. I think that's roughly 3.5 rings. And see if we can't put together a decent run at it. Ah, there you go. So, there is more than one way to make an eagle on this hole. Very difficult hole. I think it's a great hole, though. I like holes like this where you can sort of makes or breaks. Not really makes or breaks, but it really separates those top 3 guys from the rest of the field, or really gives you a chance at making a banner if you can make that eagle once or twice in the tournament. So just looking through the scorecard, one guy got the eagle on 9. So it looks like only one person that's finished so far has made that eagle. So not an easy eagle, but hopefully you guys can get that eagle. I think we got all 3 par 5s there, so that would have been a minus 12 round. I think minus 12 is a very solid round on this course in pro and rookie, just because number 9 is going to be so hard to get. So hope you guys found this guide useful. Hopefully find a couple shots that you can make use of in your rounds. But yeah, good luck in your round, guys.